get into this next segment, which we really talk about. We really call the rising tide micro course segment, and you've even touched on it a couple of times. What I think you're gonna teach us, but I just want to get out of the way and let you be the professor and let you kind of share in your area of expertise. And you've got the microphone. Take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Kevin. So what I want to share with everybody is some assertiveness for startups. Assertiveness in business doesn't necessarily have to be startups. But the first thing that I want to share with everyone is it's really important to set boundaries and learn to say no right from the beginning. Because if you're just starting up and you're really passionate about something, you're going to want to get out there and you're going to want to share all of your knowledge with everybody that you know, and that's amazing. But what you could be at risk of doing is giving your services away for free. And then it doesn't become profitable. It becomes more of a hobby and a passion. And if that's where you want to go, then that's great. But it's that you want to set yourself up to set some boundaries, identify what you will do and what you won't do right from the beginning. Because if you start off, say, doing something that may not be serving you, maybe giving away your time or taking calls late at night, that's taking away from family time. And if you set that precedent, then people are going to expect that. And then when you start to change it, there's going to be some resistance because, you may hear things like, well, what do you mean you're not taking my call at 9 o'clock at night? You always did before. And that could cause tension. So it's really important right from the start to set boundaries and learn to say no without feeling guilty. So that's the first thing that I want to share. The second thing that I want to share is know your worth. So with regards to potentially giving services away for free, right? Going back to my quote is that people will treat you the way that you allow them to treat you, right? It's like I was saying, you are responsible for the way people treat you. And you're also responsible for the way that you treat yourself, right? So knowing your worth is really important. And once you know your worth, others will too. They will respect your time. They will respect your payment schedule, and they will take you more seriously once you know your worth. And the third thing that I wanted to share with regards to assertiveness for startups is add value. And what do I mean by add value? So I'm going to give you some ways that you can add value with regards to assertiveness. Is don't be wishy-washy. I'm going to tell you what not to do, but I'm going to also tell you what to do. Is that when you are asked a question, assertively answer. Don't be indecisive about what you want to share. So what you can do is you can always leave the client or, customer, whatever, with the next steps, right? If you want them to come back, you're going to add value by giving them the next steps, right? And then you're going to book a meeting from a meeting. You always want to give them a reason to come back. That also sets you up as the expert. And when people are coming to you for a service, they are putting their trust in you to lead them in the right direction.
And this is, it's a fairly short period of time that you were talking, but there's three really great points in that that you just shared with us. So just assertiveness in business, whether it's a startup business or just business as a whole, so you set boundaries and learn to say no. What a great way to kind of set the stage early and set expectations, that for your clients and for yourself as well. The second is know your worth. And I want to camp on that just for a second. How do you determine that? My background, my college degree is in economics. So there's kind of like this idea of a price equilibrium, what the market will bear. But how do you kind of determine, because it's more than just the price point, how do you determine your worth or value?
Well, determining your worth comes from knowing yourself.
Hmm.
knowing your inner self with regards to, your self-regard, your self-actualization, and what you can actually offer. And when you have good self-worth, when you have done the inner work on yourself, people can sense that. So I'll
Sure.
give you an example. I met with a potential client, this was months ago, and she says to me, "Oh, you must find it exhausting listening to everybody's problems all day. Like, how do you do it? You must be drained all the time." And I'm like, "Well, that's interesting you say that." I'm like, "Well, no, I don't feel that. Actually, it's the opposite. I get a charge from helping others. And it's because I've already done my work.
Mm.
I know what I can offer and how I can help. And if I did not do my work, I would not be of great service to you if I were to take on all your problems."
Yeah, it's a good word.
Right?
It's a good
So
word.
it's knowing your worth and knowing yourself and know what you can bring to the table, because the more you know about yourself, the more you can handle.
Mm. So your 3 points were setting boundaries, knowing your worth, and the third one I didn't mention was just making sure you add value and
Mhm.
kind of leave them with the idea that what are the next steps, what are the action points that we're going to circle back on it, and to answer really decisively. I like that point as well. That kind of sub point under number 3. So this
Mhm.
is this is good stuff.
Yeah, I just want to add something to that, like with the whole wishy-washy, because I've
Mhm.
heard, business owners in general, like the client will come and ask them, "Well, what should I do?" And they're like, "Well, you could do this," or, "Well, there's that." And it doesn't, that's not assertive.
Yep.
That's more passive.
Right.
And if the client is asking, then they're looking for an answer. So
Hmm.
you can give your honest opinion or your honest experience of what has worked or what you would recommend.
Yeah. And it doesn't
Mhm.
exude confidence if I'm asking my coach for answers and they're going, you could do that or this, or, because I mean, can you imagine a football coach, the players coming to them and say, "So what are we going to do, coach?" And he goes, "Well, we could do this, we could do that, or, we'll try some things, throw some spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks." And yeah,
Yeah.
I love that's exactly that. That makes a lot of sense. So
Mhm.